just about 10 o'clock. We're going to get started in just a minute here. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name's Lisa Garcia, and I'm the Vice President of all the rental assistance programs for the Housing Authority of the City of Austin. And we also have a representative from the Austin Apartment Association on the call. Paul, are you there? I saw you join.
Yes, Lisa, I'm here.
Okay, you want to say hi, everyone?
Is my there?
Thanks for joining us.
There it goes. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. And appreciate your partnership as well. And we also have Michael Gerber. He's the president and CEO of the Housing Authority of the City of Austin today. So again, I really appreciate all of you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today to hear about the Emergency Housing Voucher Program. And this program, it's an exciting new program, and we're going to tell you about it. It's real similar to the Housing Choice Voucher Program, but it has a lot of extra benefits for all of you, some cash benefits, and we really need your partnership to help provide units to the families and individuals that have these vouchers. So again, I want to say huge thanks to all of you for joining us today. And before I get started, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Gerber, who just wants to welcome you, say a few words. Go ahead, Mike. Oh, you're on mute. There you go.
There you go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. And thanks for calling me Michael. I think Lisa and my mom only called me Michael, and I knew I was in trouble when I heard Michael. Usually I go by Mike, but so I'll have to check with Lisa afterwards to see how much trouble I'm in. Thank you all for being on the call. Appreciate it. You know, the Housing Authority of the City of Austin is a proud member of the Austin Apartment Association, and we so appreciate Paul and Emily and the amazing team at the Apartment Association, who we've worked with over many years. I think I've shared with some of you that the Apartment Association, you know, of course, in its annual food drive, has really helped our neighbors in need, and many of those neighbors who are most vulnerable live at properties that are operated by the Housing Authority of the City of Austin. HACA is, of course, you know, not only a landlord and owner doing, you know, work in the very same space that so many of you are, but we also, you know, provide a variety of resources within the community to serve different special populations. And of course, no neighbors have as much need as our homeless neighbors do. Our homeless brothers and sisters, of which there's far too many on the streets of Austin, who are unsheltered or who are facing housing insecurity and are eligible for this program. We have too many, and we have such critical need, and that's why we're appealing to all of you for your help today. You're going to hear a little bit about the mechanics of the program, but we're excited that Congress authorized an emergency housing voucher program to help deal with America's homeless, and that Austin was the fortunate recipient of several hundred of these vouchers. They've been very hard, just to be very honest with you. It's been very hard to find units for these most vulnerable people. Fortunately, these resources come with incentives for landlords. They come with casework support and other critical assistance, and I think will make them much more attractive to you as a landlord, to us as a landlord. But most importantly, I hope that you get from the call a real sense of urgency that we face in this community to house our unsheltered homeless. These individuals are coming through coordinated assessment. There's been a careful screening and vetting process. There are partners who are stepping up to provide critical social services, and the need is great. Our hope is that in the next several weeks, that we can identify at least 150 units, if not more. And I would really ask each of you as colleagues and as friends, many of whom I've known for years. I know it is hard to accept a homeless neighbor. I know there are concerns and challenges. We'd really hope in this call to be able to walk through some of that with you, to make you feel safe and that your business can be successful and that your property can be safe and successful by accepting homeless persons who are coming with, again, support and care through this system. And as you think about the benefits, and all of the different resources that we have in Austin, I ask you to really kind of evaluate your corporate culture and to see if you can dig just a little bit deeper and do just a little bit more. We don't want to have to return resources to Capitol Hill. We don't want to have to return resources to and have them redistributed to other cities. We have clear needs in Austin, and in order to house people, we need to go to people who have places for people to live, and that's the people on this call. My agency, our agency, your agency, the Housing Authority of the City of Austin is stepping up, and we're committing units, and we would ask you all to do the same. So I thank you for being on the call today. I thank you for bringing passion and energy to this issue and trying to address a real emergent and critical civic need. And I thank Lisa and Dylan and others you'll hear from today who are really doing yeoman's work trying to make this program work and be one of the best in the country in helping to not only be successful getting people housed, but I think you'll find is operated in a way that really does meet the specific needs of individual landlords and is easy for you to navigate and work through. We can do we know there's always some process. We've done our level best to try to streamline that process and get inspectors out, that afternoon or the next morning to work through paperwork. It's federal funding. It does come with a little bit of paperwork, but I believe that our team has done a tremendous job in working to streamline that. And I'm committed to working with each of you to make that as easy as we can have it be. So thank you for your attention this morning, and thank you for partnering with us. And Lisa, I'll turn it over to you. And I would just say I apologize that I've got back-to-back meetings, as I know so many of you do. So I'll stay on for a few minutes, then I'm going to pull off. But if there's any questions, I'm glad to answer those. But Lisa, otherwise, back to you.
Thanks so much, Mike. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here today and for that introduction as well. I so much appreciate it. And we're going to get started in just a minute here. Before I do, I want to introduce a couple of the folks from the HACA staff that is going to work closely with each one of you in terms of the administering the Emergency Housing Voucher Program, giving you more information. So Dylan Schubitz is on the line. I don't know if you could show there he is. Hey, Dylan, say hello.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's great to have so many of you with us. Thank you, Lisa, for organizing and making this happen. Thank you, Mike, for the vote of confidence in myself and my team who are running this program. Thank you, Paul, for your continued partnership over the last, I think we did the Ending Veterans Homelessness Initiative about 6 years ago, the Apartment Association, and perhaps many of you were a part of achieving the effective end of veteran homelessness in Austin back in 2016. Yeah, thank you again, everybody. It's great to meet you for the first time or to see you again. And I really look forward to working with you on the Emergency Housing Voucher Program.
Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate you so much. And Dylan does an awesome job. He's the director over special programs and intake, and he has been with HACA for over 13 years and is just really committed to this. So he's here to help. He knows the ins and outs, and if there's a hurdle to jump over, he'll figure out how to get through it. So thanks, Dylan, so much. We also have Jeremy Burke on the call. Jeremy, could you say hello? Put me on the spot there. There's Jeremy.
Hey, everybody. I'm the EHV Program Landlord Client Liaison, and I am the one that makes sure that you guys get paid some of the service fee money that we have for you guys. So I'm sure that I will be interacting with all of you to answer your questions and get everything sorted out as you work with our clients.
Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks so much for being on the call. Yeah, and you're going to see at the end of as we get through the presentation, you're going to have the contact information, and Jeremy is the contact. So when you sign up and register your interest, Jeremy will be contacting you and sort of helping you move through the process to know how to participate in this program. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the way we'll move through this presentation today, the presentation isn't too long. So if you're, I know you're all busy people, it's 10 minutes or less, and we're going to open it up for questions at the end. And you can put questions throughout this in the chat. If something comes to your mind, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll address it at the end of the presentation. But also, if you feel more comfortable in, verbalizing what your question is, you'll have an opportunity to do that as well at the end of the presentation. So we'll go ahead and get started. So first, again, appreciate each and every one of you coming today and being a part of this, just to hear about the Emergency Housing Voucher Program. It really depends on a partnership with both the families, the Housing Authority, and all of you, as well as a partnership. We have a partnership with the various community partners that work with the homeless in Austin, and they're providing case management services to families and individuals that receive one of these emergency housing vouchers. So it's really an added, benefit. There's a lot more wraparound support services for the families that receive these vouchers, and I think that's really key for the success. And I think we can all agree that a home is a cornerstone to success. It provides stability so we can secure and maintain employment, stay healthy, and raise our children. However, throughout Austin and the United States, there are many people who can't afford a home. Maybe they lost their job or the rent increased so high they can no longer afford it. Soon they find themselves on the street, living in their car, or in a homeless shelter. But the good news is Congress recognized this and they made available some emergency housing vouchers. The Housing Authority of the City of Austin received 242 of these emergency housing vouchers, and we've been working with families. We have a number of families and individuals that have already received the vouchers, but it's really important that we need to try to get some help to try to find units for the families. These vouchers provide money for rent and services to help the homeless move from the streets to stable homes. It's modeled after the Housing Choice Voucher Program, so families need to find a home in the private rental market, and they're going to pay between 30 and 40% of their income for rent, and the Housing Authority will pay the rest directly to the property owner every month. As I mentioned earlier, in addition, there's case management services provided by, there's various Caritas of Austin, there's others that will provide case management services to the family, so that's an added key benefit. You can go to the next slide, Ken. So as I mentioned, the program depends on partnerships with property owners like you. I'm going to play you a quick video so you can hear from Miwa, a landlord in Austin, Texas.
Miwa, a landlord in Texas.
Hi, I'm Miwa. I am an investor and landlord in the Austin, Texas market. I have a few properties with the HCV program, and it's a great program, and I love being part of it.
Can you tell us about a positive experience you've had with the HCV program?
My favorite experience thus far with the HCV program is a family that I housed. They were a homeless veteran family. They had been experiencing homelessness quite a while during and before the pandemic, as a matter of fact. And of course, the pandemic compounded their pain and suffering in this time. I was introduced to the family through one of the caseworkers and one of the program managers in the Austin HCV program. I got to meet the family, or rather, speak with the family, and I felt like I had a property that really fit their needs. They would benefit. They've been in there. They love it. They were just brought to tears when they moved in because they had such trouble finding stable housing. And I said, look, you're here as long as you need to be. I don't expect you to move into ever.
What advice would you give to landlords who are interested in the HCV program?
If you're a new landlord to the program, just understand this is a partnership between you, the HCV program in your local area, and the tenant. And it's a great partnership if you get it right. And even if you don't, there's so many people to be involved to help actually make it right.
Great. As you can see, Miwa is a fan of the voucher program, and she's owns just a few properties in Austin, and she's really been a great partner with HACA, providing her units to families in need, and specifically in this case, a homeless veteran that was in need. Now, the Emergency Housing Voucher Program is not the Housing Choice Voucher Program, but it's very similar and actually has added benefits, as I had mentioned earlier. And it is, if you might ask too, is it going to continue? Is the assistance going to continue? And it will. So similar to the voucher program, it's a long-term subsidy as long as someone's in need of the assistance. Similar to the Housing Choice Voucher Program, you can use your own applicant screening criteria to approve the tenant. And once the unit passes an inspection and the family moves in, you'll receive guaranteed rent deposited into your bank account each month. But there's a few added benefits to the program, as I had mentioned earlier. HACA, under the Emergency Housing Voucher Program, will pay for the application fees and security deposits for the tenant. And Jeremy Burke is available to help make that happen if there's a need for that. We also will offer a $1,000 lease incentive for any new leases. And there's a risk mitigation fund to help with any damages to the property not covered by the security deposit. And finally, there's a $1,000 retention payment if you decide to lease a unit to the same tenant after a 1-year period. You can go to the next slide, Ken. As I said, the Emergency Housing Voucher Program, obviously with what I just mentioned, provides a lot of financial benefits to you. I'm going to walk through now just some of the easy steps of how you can participate with the program. First, let us know that you're interested in learning more about the program by visiting the website, or you can scan that QR code that's right there and an interest form will pop up. You just need to complete it with your name and contact information, and Jeremy will be in touch with you to sort of walk you through what the next steps are. Second, follow your regular application and screening process. Once you've located a family that's interested, that you've decided you want to provide a home to, and like I said, just like the regular voucher program, just follow your regular screening criteria. You use your lease that you normally would. Once you decide to lease to a family and you turn in the paperwork, we're going to go ahead and do an inspection of the property. We're expediting these inspections. I've told the inspection department, if they hear it's an emergency housing voucher program, we want to get that inspected the very next day that we've been notified about it so we can get the family moved in as soon as possible. So we're expediting those inspections. Once it passes the inspection, then we can start payment on the property, and the family, of course, has to move into the unit. Case managers will work, as I said, with the family. They're all going to have case managers assigned to them to help stabilize the individual or family once they move into the home. So it's really simple steps. I know some of you might already be participating in the Housing Choice Voucher Program, so it's a very similar format, except there's cash incentives as well as just we're trying to expedite things as quickly as possible so we can get individuals and families from the streets into housing. In closing, I just want to again thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend today's information seminar. I'm gonna stop now and open it up to any questions you all might have.
So Lisa, looks like we have some good questions coming in the chat. Let's see. The first one from Paul with the Austin Apartment Association. Are the unit inspections performed for the EHV units the same routine inspections done for all HCV units, or are there any new inspection wrinkles for the EHV program?
Same inspections. So same criteria and same inspections. Thanks for asking that question.
The next one, also from Paul. Thank you so much, Paul. Can you provide an example of how the risk mitigation fund might work?
Sure, I'm going to let Dylan take that one. You want to grab that, Dylan?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've written into the program rules, set levels of how much we can basically insure against excess damage beyond the security deposit. So at the end of someone's tenancy, if someone's paid, say, a $1,000 security deposit for a 2-bedroom unit. If you do your typical walkthrough, make deductions for damages, and it turns out the damages are $1,500. There's $1,500 worth of damage caused by the tenant. What you would do at that point is the same process you would do to inform the tenant of the deductions from the security deposit. Make that same notification to HACA, and you can request the balance of what's missing. So the $500 in excess damage, you can basically put in a claim to HACA, provide an invoice to show the cost of that damage that's been repaired, and we pay it out. Full disclosure, we have not done that yet. This program is very new, so we haven't had anyone reach the point where they are, exiting a unit. Yeah, we'll learn together, I guess, what the ins and outs look like. But I feel pretty confident we've got, we've got a good, clear set of parameters around it, and we want to. The goal is to make you whole and to make this worthwhile, so you do it again for the next client.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you, Dylan. I've got another good question from Maureen. Is there already approved families, or is there a wait list for applicants?
Take that one, Dylan.
Yeah, I can take that one too. So yes, there are nearly 100 families who have, families and individuals who have these vouchers in hand already and are engaged in their housing search. The waiting list, you may have heard Mr. Gerber at the beginning of the meeting refer to coordinated assessment. That's sort of, well, I don't want to get too far into the weeds there, but basically there's like a centralized, referral point through ECHO, which is the Ending Community Homelessness Coalition. Basically, they identify clients who are appropriate for this intervention, this program, pair them up with supportive services, and then refer them to us. So there's, we don't accept applications directly from the general public. It all kind of comes through that coordinated system. And yes, we have many people who are searching right now who would love to hear about your available units.
Thank you, Dylan. Another great question from Marzi. Do you have a rent ceiling? I have a higher end unit that is more expensive than average. Do you pay for those too, or only Class C or B units?
I can keep going.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, short answer is yes, there is a rent ceiling. However, that ceiling is higher for the EHV program than it is for the regular housing choice voucher program. So we were able to utilize some flexibilities that HUD gave us and basically approve higher rents than we ordinarily are able to with the regular voucher program. So every family's rent ceiling is going to be a little different based on the family composition and the income that they have coming into their household. However, yes, we would love to hear the details of any unit you have available, and we would be willing to offer up. And yeah, we can assess if there's anyone who can afford that particular unit. Typically, yeah, we're working in Class B and Class C, but we would love to expand the universe, and that's the idea of that higher rent ceiling and why we implemented that flexibility, is to expand the universe of available units that rent for more money than we can typically assist with in the regular voucher program.
Yeah, and I want to add to that with what Dylan said is if you have a unit that you're wondering, is it going to qualify, fill out the interest form and we can have a conversation and we can run see what the rent's going for and see if it would qualify under the program. So we can do those individual assessments per unit as they come up.
Yeah, so Marzi, definitely email Jeremy. I'll put the graphic back up on the screen here in a second. Next question from Gary. I entered late, but did you talk about how a prospect tenant can get access to a voucher if we are willing to house them? So how are the tenants chosen for these vouchers?
So right now they go through coordinated assessment, or they go through ECHO, and the Ending Community Homeless Coalition refers those that are eligible to the Housing Authority. We have a number of families that already have vouchers, I think over 100. So if someone has an available unit, fill out the interest form, and Jeremy can help connect the individual or family with the property owner that has the available unit.
Very good. From Greg, will a refrigerator, washer, dryer need to be provided in these units?
Yes, I mean, they will need those. So those can be provided, of course, by the owner or the family. I don't know that there's any resources if there's not one in there to provide one. I don't know, Dylan, you hear any creative things going out there with finding refrigerators and stoves to get them into the units?
Sure. So to pass inspection standards, every unit has to have a refrigerator and a cooking apparatus of some sort. Washer dryer not required by the inspection standards. And yeah, there is actually the option. If you have a unit that does not have a refrigerator, that should just be communicated to the tenant up front that when they move in, they will be required to provide their own refrigerator. That has an effect, like a minor effect on the utility allowance and the subsidy calculation. But short answer, the unit has to have a refrigerator and something to cook with. Longer answer is that either tenant or property owner may provide it.
Very good, thank you. From Julie, can we use this program for someone that is struggling to pay rent now that already lives on your property now and could face homelessness?
Unfortunately, no. So the way people access this program is through the coordinated entry system. So I was trying to avoid getting into the weeds on this, but there seems to be a lot of questions about it. So the coordinated entry system is sort of like a single point of entry for people experiencing homelessness, where they basically complete an interview with a trained assessor, and the responses to those questions sort of dictates what type of permanent housing intervention is most likely to, end their spell of homelessness. So that system basically compiles all that data and prioritizes people. Like, it's a triage system as opposed to a wait list. So people who can be matched up with the services that we've partnered up with get referred directly through that system. So if you know someone who is experiencing homelessness, I can help you connect them to the coordinated entry system so they could complete that assessment and basically be prioritized for not only the EHV program, but dozens of other housing programs dedicated to serving people experiencing homelessness.
Thank you, Dylan. This one comes in from April. Are there any limitations on the amount of money the risk mitigation fund will pay?
The answer to that question is yes, there is. We've set limits based on unit size. I can't pull those right off the top of my head right now, but I can research that answer and put it in the chat in the next few minutes. And yeah, the risk mitigation limit increases as the size of the unit increases, basically.
Thank you. From Paul, how are residents finding units? Through the page on the HACA site? If a property offered a unit or units, will their property appear on the HACA site?
You want to answer that one, Dylan? Yeah, go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, I can take that too. So yeah, the form that I've been popping into the chat, periodically here, that information goes to Jeremy, who you met a little bit earlier, and then when Jeremy receives that information, they'll reach out to you, get a little more detail about the unit, and start trying to help pair that unit up, match that unit up with a prospective tenant that he's assisting with the housing search, or with the supportive service partners who are also assisting clients with their housing search as well. So yeah, there's, we have some resources that we refer people to to sort of jumpstart their housing search that have listings. Affordablehousing.com is one of those places. It used to be known as the old name of that is GoSection8.com, which you all may be familiar with. They've like rebranded. Affordablehousing.com is where you can go and just list units. Yeah, you can list your available units there. But if you are trying to take advantage of these financial incentives, the best way is to connect directly with Jeremy and see if we can pair you up specifically with someone from the EHV program. If we can't find a good match, we have many other people from many other programs that we can help connect you to. Unfortunately, those programs just won't have the same financial incentives.
Thank you. This one is from A. Reynolds. Are the tenants able to pay some portion of the rent, or will the program pay 100% of the rent?
So the program pays a part of the rent. So families generally pay between 30 and 40% of their income. So it really depends how much income they have. So if they're if they have no income, then we would pay, all of the rent. And if they have, I think there's a 25, or actually is there a $25 minimum rent? Dylan, I can't remember.
There is, yes.
I don't want to say something that's not what we'll do. So why don't you fill in the blanks there?
Yeah, so the $25 minimum rent would really only apply if you had a tenant who had zero income and was living in a unit where all bills are included with the rent. So if you've got an all bills paid unit and someone who does not have any income or extremely low income, their rent portion would be $25. But yeah, bottom line is for the vast majority of these EHV program participants, their rent portion is going to be relatively low. HACA is going to be paying, like I said, for the vast majority, most of the rent, if not all of it.
Okay, we have last one from, we've got a couple more. Oh, this one's from Oktay. I have a tenant who does not pay rent and does not apply for help. What can I do?
Well, with this program, they'd have to be a person that was homeless or, at this point in time, and they'd have to apply through coordinated entry through it's austinecho.org. But if they're in your unit and they're not paying rent right now, this particular program that we're talking about, or the voucher program, would not address that problem. And at this point in time, and Ken, I believe the emergency rental assistance program is no longer in operation. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, there was for the past couple of years during the pandemic, we had the rental assistance program going on that could have helped this person, but those funds have ended. And I don't know if Paul with the Austin Apartment Association, if you might have any advice for just a landlord in general who is having trouble with a tenant that can't pay rent.
I wish there was an easy answer for these. I do know that Travis County did arrange some funds to replenish their rental assistance program. I don't know if they've opened the application process or they're still processing applications that were previously submitted before they closed that program. But Oktay can contact me afterwards, and we can walk through that and try to find some pathway to success here.
Definitely. Thank you, Paul. And this next question from Paul. He's really helping us with some great questions here. Are the financial incentives paid automatically, or is there an application process that accompanies the payments?
You want to take that one, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, are the financial incentives paid automatically? Yes. So the sign-on bonus that comes at HAP contract execution. So the order of operations, if you're not familiar, the tenant applies, the tenant's application is approved, HACA completes an inspection, the tenant moves in, and then HACA and the property owner execute a HAP contract, which starts the subsidy payments. At that initial payment for the first month or two of rent, we'll also make that payment automatically for the sign-on bonus. So that extra $1,000 coming straight to you via direct deposit.
Great, thank you, Dylan. And Dylan in the chat, if you didn't notice, he put some additional info. Risk mitigation limits are 500 for studios and efficiencies, 700 for 1-bedroom, 1,000 for 2-bedroom units, and 1,200 for 3-bedroom units or larger. Paul, if in the chat or if you want to directly message Oktay your contact info, that looks like the last question, unless anyone else is more comfortable turning on their mic. Oh, here we go. We got one from Abu. I currently have Section 8 tenants. Is there any way for me to know if they are in the program? I currently have Section 8 tenants. Is there any way for me to know if they are in the program?
Yeah, I can sort of spot check it. I will say that this is a relatively new program. People started leasing up in this program around August. So if your tenants were, if your Section 8 tenants were in your unit before August, then they are not in the EHV program. But yeah, if you have questions about what program they're being assisted with, you can contact me directly. I'll put my email address in the chat.
Great. All right. Looks like the last call on questions, if anyone else has anything else. Otherwise, I'll hand it back to Lisa.
All right, thank you. And Dylan just put Jeremy's email in the chat. I will put mine in there too, in case you need me for any reason. All right, well, again, thanks everyone for joining this call today or this meeting today. Really appreciate your attention to it. And the question was, will the presentation be shared? We certainly can, and if we're welcome to stay on a little longer too, Andrea, if you'd like, and I can run through it again with you if you like. I have the time. I've got some time blocked off this morning, so but we can. I think we recorded it as well, but I definitely can stay on as well. But I want to again thank everybody for joining. I'll stay on a little bit longer too if anybody else wants me to run through some additional questions. I'll have Jeremy and Dylan and Ken stay on a little bit too, just to see if there's anything else. But again, thanks everyone for joining today. And if you are interested, we encourage you to reach out to Jeremy and fill out that interest form, and we'll be in contact with you. And we have, like we said, we have plenty of individuals and families with vouchers ready to go. So we just need the units, and we can pair you up with them today, and we'll expedite those inspections as soon as possible as well. So again, thank you again for your time and attention. Feel free to reach out to any of us with any additional questions. We're here to help and to help you maneuver through any questions that you might have. We also have, regular vouchers too. So we're here with any questions you might have for the regular voucher program as well. So again, thanks for attending today. Thank you so much, and I'll stay on a little longer. Have a good afternoon or rest of the morning. Take care.
Lisa, thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, 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 and you?
Good. How are you? So what?
Dylan? So I am at Foundation Communities now.
Oh, all right, all right.
Yeah, just by chance that I went online and I was able to register. So
yeah,
that was a very lucky thing. So very basic question, and I know you talked about this, I'm sure, from the beginning. What is this program exactly?
Okay, so yeah, I'll sort of let you know what it is, and what we can make the slide deck available to you. But so the Emergency Housing Voucher Program, we received 242 vouchers from HUD, and these are specifically for homeless, so persons experiencing homelessness.
Regular homeless or chronically homeless?
Mostly chronically homeless, majority. They're referred through, we're partnered with ECHO, and there's various partners that we have that, Dylan, you can name all the partners that we're working with through ECHO that's providing case management services. Which ones are, you have them all at the top of your head?
Oh, yeah. Family Elder Care, Caritas of Austin, Front Steps, the Downtown Austin Community Courts providing case management.
The usual?
Yeah, the usual, okay. all the usual players.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So they're providing case management services. They get referred through coordinated entry, and then ECHO refers to us, and then we're issuing out the vouchers. And right now we have about, how many vouchers do we have searching right now, Dylan?
Close to 100. I want to say between 90 and 100 people with vouchers in hand.
Yeah, so they've already received their vouchers, and I think we have another, 50 or so that we're going to be issuing out in the next few weeks. So that's sort of how, that works. And then I think you can go to the next slide, Ken, and then I can highlight the specifics of how it's, we don't have to do that one, but maybe the next one. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the difference between this program and the regular voucher program, so number one, it's specifically for those experiencing homelessness is, a key. But a few of the differences, this program actually had provided some incentive money to as well, which we don't have it for the regular voucher program, as you know. But, and we're able to pay for the application fee and security deposits if needed for the applicant, as well as it also could include like utility assistance deposits if needed. And those are all coordinated through their case manager or Jeremy Burke, who's at HACA, and Jeremy's contact information I think was provided in the chat, and I can show it to you again. And then also for any new lease, we're paying $1,000, and that's going to be at lease sign. So get the HAP payment from us, as well as the $1,000 for the lease incentive for a new lease. In addition, if after they move out, if there's any damages to the unit, there's some money available for damages not covered by the security deposit. And I think Dylan put in the chat what those look like. There was certain levels that could go up to.
Oh, that was the risk mitigation information?
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So there's some money for that after the end of the lease, if the security deposit doesn't cover that. And then finally, if the owner or manager decides to release for an additional year after the first year's lease, we're going to provide $1,000 retention payment, because it's great to have that stability.
This program keeps getting better.
Great, awesome. Our voucher program could have all this extra money.
I know.
Awesome. So that's what we're trying to work towards. So those are just the different. Everything else about the program is the same. This one too, they have a case manager assigned to them to help with, stability and getting adjusted into.
Oh, wow.
So, and this is that QR code or that contact. If you go to that, visit that site or hit that, take a picture of that QR code.
Yeah.
It's going to pull up the interest form. And just fill the interest form out, and Jeremy will reach out and try to connect the unit or the units with the families to make sure that, knowing what's available, who's searching right now. So that's sort of how it works. But other than that, all the regular points of the voucher programs are still in place. Like, we're going to inspect the unit. The difference is I put them as high priority, so they're going to get inspected, as soon as possible. But all those other requirements are still in play. So still have to do the regular HAP contract. There's no different HAP contract, use your regular lease, so everything else, the only difference really is the added support in terms of the case management support, the added money that we already went through.
So folks, to get this, they go through a regular coordinated assessment and get assigned a voucher. And then I guess the reason why I'm asking, well, I mean, just to know, but all of our properties work off of a waiting list. I'm thinking, how do I know? Do they know that that's the kind of voucher they have?
Well, we just started issuing the vouchers in, I think,
August?
July. So they should know if someone has a voucher. You should
Okay.
case manager
Yeah.
make you aware that it was that particular type of voucher. So, you know, they know that those incentives are there available. If you know that at any of your properties, there was someone referred that has a case manager through coordinated entry, we can definitely, you know, take a look. Did they have an emergency voucher? Was there? But I'm not sure if there's any other way to check on that. I don't know, Dylan, are you there? You are. Any other thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, catch me up. I was responding to questions in the chat.
It was a question on, you know, how do they know if they have one? And I indicated we started issuing these in July, so you know, I'm not sure how we can, with foundation communities, I don't know how we could do any kind of check on that.
Yeah, so if you have questions about which of your tenants at foundation communities have that voucher, we can easily look that up for you, no problem. The tenant, you know, is definitely told this is the type of voucher they're getting, but you know, if that means anything to anybody is debatable. So
They're dealing with a lot of things, and all of these, the paperwork tends to be overwhelming. I'm glad they have a case manager who comes along and helps out. But thank you so much for, you know, explaining everything to me, for being late. Appreciate it, and thank you for this voucher. It's amazing.
Well, great. Well, thanks so much for joining today. I appreciate it and taking the time.
You'll take care.
All right. Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, actually, we've got a couple. One that Carlos asked and Dylan answered, but I'll just read it for everyone's benefit. Carlos asked, what does the $1,000 lease incentive cover? Is it for the tenant or for the use of the landlord? And Dylan answered that the sign-on bonus is an incentive that goes to the property with no strings attached. So yeah, it can be used for whatever the property owner wishes. Carlos had a follow-up question. We do have a senior community that we can house with these vouchers if they qualify. Who do I contact to see if any voucher holders qualify?
Yeah, so I would say Jeremy Burke would be the best person to contact. Either fill out that interest form, or you can just reach out directly with that email. And I think, did you put that in the chat earlier, Ken, or maybe put it there again? There you go. So reach out to Jeremy, and Jeremy can sort of review who we have, because we have a number of people. If that property particularly has a, you know, it has to be a certain age or up, you know, we definitely have all that information, so we could better take a look and see who we have looking that might pair best with that particular property. All right.
Yeah, that is the last question.
All right. Well, again, thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate it. Look forward to working with each and every one of you. So take care. Have a great rest of your morning. Take care. Bye-bye.